Hello. Here we go again with another dungeon, Tam Tara Deepcroft. Gonna put on my stance, of course. This is not technically a hard dungeon, but it is a fun dungeon. And I figured after Stone Vigil, it's time for a little fun. Now in this dungeon, we have, again, two melee DPSs, because none of the melee DPSs get any, get any AoE abilities at this level, nor does Summoner for some reason. The only ranged class that gets no AoEs. Yeah, I got it. We're going this way. Did my healer get lost? I think my healer got lost. It's fine, though. But see, this is the fun part about this, is because you can take it all the way to the mini-boss. As long as he keeps pressing that physic button, we win. And of course, I use Rampart at the end, not during the pull, so that way I can get the most benefit from it, and everything's dying. So this is going splendidly. A lot of the pulls that are at least 2 or 3 you want to do with Unmend instead of just using your AoE, because your AoE is slower and you have to be closer to the enemy. With Unmend you can at least be a bit further away, and it gives a lot more aggro to you. So you want to make sure you use Unmend where you can if you're good enough. And as you can see, I'm on controller when doing this. You can consistently aggro stuff when on controller, if you know camera positioning. That, and it'll go to the right side. This one I'm going to want to use 2 AoEs, because that's enough to get a kill on an enemy with a DPS without aggroing anything else. These 3, I just want to play it safe, use a few AoEs, even though I could have used Unmend for all of them. And I'm taking it directly to the mini-boss again, because the mini-bosses are basically just extensions. I need some healing. Okay. Well, that was weird, but that was fine. Apparently my game lagged, but it's completely fine. I did not expect that to happen. It almost never happens. Just gonna come back for the Marley, but as you can see, I'm perfectly fine. And this is what makes Tam Tara so fun. You can just go straight to the mini-bosses with every single set of enemies. With every single wall-to-wall, just go straight to the mini-boss and you're perfectly safe. So long as your healer knows to press the physic key. Or the Cure 1 key. The reason that I chose Scholar, I chose Scholar and White Mage just because there's certain abilities that the other 2 healers get that kind of just make it a lot easier to do these dungeons this level. I'm just gonna do that. Always watch for, oh, perfect. Now I can just do this. Got you. And I manipulated the camera so I could easily get that guy. I stopped targeting, that way it would target the one closest to the camera. As you can see, this is one big pull. I could use a heal, thank you. And now we go for it. Gonna use my cooldown here, and we're good. As you can see, I'm gonna, of course, dodge the AoEs, I'm not dumb. And those Barleys should die without me needing to even get close to them. Over by that samurai over there. Because I made sure that to either do an unmend or 2 separate AoE attacks on them to make sure they have enough aggro to where they die. Before the samurai gets aggro off them. Or takes the aggro, per se. And as you can see, those were some really good pulls. But sadly, you can't pull them directly to these guys here, because you need to kill all those enemies just to get that orb all the way to the right there in order to unlock that gate. So it does bar you off from going over here and attracting these enemies too, but for the most part it is a pretty fun wall-to-wall area to do. Not hard, but somewhat fun, just because of the amount of enemies you could have on your back and not ever have to worry. It's great for those who don't want a challenge, but instead just want to enjoy the feeling of tanking everything at once without trying. And here's the boss already. This is probably going to be an 8-minute completion, actually probably 7-minute 30-second completion. I'm just going to do that. Give it an unmend. I'm going to die before I got over there, so I figured unmend instead. Oh no, what will I ever do? I'll just use Rampart, that's what I'll do. But I don't know how much damage that AoE does, but I think it paralyzes, so I'm not going to deal with it. I'm going to drag the boss over here because this imp won't die before I get there, so it'd be a good idea for me to get over there and actually do some damage on it while they're attacking the other imp. And as you can see, we won. That was tanking, or how to tank. Pretty simple dungeon though, but it's good practice if you're trying to practice on aggroing a bunch of enemies. And for anyone starting out with tanking, this is the dungeon to go to. Take care.